Hey everybody, JC here with another T&I toy review, and today's review is in association with MarvelousNews.com, your #1 news source for everything Marvel. And for today's review, we're going to be taking a look at the brand new released Spider-Man 6-inch Marvel Legends Speed Demon figure from Hasbro. Now this figure comes packaged in the same style of packaging we're seeing with the new Marvel Legends for 2016. You've got the Build-A-Figure Absorbing Man logo up at the very top. You've got the Legends series logo and then the figure clearly displayed in the window box packaging along with the accessories. Then you have that Spider-Man logo, and this figure is listed as a Superior Foes of Spider-Man, and it comes packaged in the same kind of packaging as the other Superior Foes of Spider-Man, the Female Beetle. So we've got images of Female Beetle on one side, Speed Demon on the other, and then on the back we have a look at both figures, a brief bio, and then down below a look at all the figures in the Absorbing Man Build-A-Figure wave. Okay, so let's get this open and take a look at what's inside. Okay, so here's a look at the figure outside the packaging along with the accessories. Now before we look at the figure itself, let's take a look at everything that comes with it. So first of all, we get the torso piece for the Absorbing Man Build-A-Figure, and we'll be doing a full-on review of Absorbing Man as the final review for the figures in this wave. So be sure to check back for that probably within a couple of days. We're down to this figure, and we got the Female Beetle, and then we'll be doing Absorbing Man. Besides that, we also get a pair of extra hands. We get a pair, the figure comes, when you take it out of the packaging, has closed-fisted hands attached to it, and then you get a pair of hands with the fingers straight out, basically for running poses. And then finally, we get this weird head. It's Silvermane's head on a remote control car. I know it's part of a story in the Superior Foes of Spider-Man. I'm not really familiar with it, so I don't know the full story behind it. But we get the Silvermane head, and it's on a ball joint, so you can actually pop the head off if you want. Don't know if there's any kind of suitable figure that you could put it on or try and put it on, but it does pop off, and the head does turn. It doesn't have a hinge joint or anything, so it really, now you can kind of pivot to the left and the right a little bit, but mostly it just turns. Has this flag that also you can remove from the car that's on the back, and it's just a piece of plastic, red and black, and then the car itself. Now the car unfortunately does not have, the wheels don't actually roll, so you kind of just have to slide it if you want, and it's green and just black, so not a lot of huge paint detail, but it looks pretty true, I think, to what is seen in the comics for this. Again, I haven't actually read this story, but so I don't know the full story behind it. It's got this hole in the back of the car, which I'm not exactly sure why, if that's any real purpose or not. I like the head sculpt. I definitely think the Silvermane head sculpt looks pretty good. Okay, so for the figure itself, we are once again using that pizza-eating Spider-Man mold for this figure. And as I've said before, yes, it's a reuse of an existing mold, but I think it fits the character well, so it doesn't really bother me. I would honestly, I know a lot of you kind of sometimes complain that Hasbro reuses the same molds over and over again, which is true, but my question is, why does it matter as long as the mold fits the character and it's a good mold? And this pizza-eating Spider-Man mold is a pretty decent mold with decent articulation. So, again, if you don't like reusing molds, I really like to hear why it bothers you so much, as long as the mold fits the character. I understand if it's a mold that's totally inappropriate for the character that they decided to reuse, which does occasionally happen, but in this case, and most of these cases with these more recently released figures, I don't know why it's really that big a deal for you if they reuse a mold. But anyway, this does use that pizza-eating Spider-Man mold. It's pretty much everything except for the head. The closed-fisted hands are the same. Now, the paint applications on the figure are not too bad. I do have a little bit of a nick or something on the gold metallic trim up here on his midsection, basically where the arm goes into that chest piece, torso piece. It looks like it's scratched a little bit of the gold metallic paint. And then on the sides here under his arms, you've got these seams for the figure, and it's worse on this side, but you can see You know, those seams are, you've got some red basically painted on the seam over the gold and blue and stuff, so that looks a little bit off. And even up here under his arm, it's a little bit worn where that seam kind of sticks out a little bit. You know, not too major, and that's mostly covered up when you have the arms down on the figure, but just wanted to point that out. Otherwise, you know, pretty solid paint applications. Dark navy blue and red color, and then the gold metallic trim. You've got the dark navy blue on the mask, the red for the goggles. Do have a little bit of up here on the goggles. It looks like, I don't know, it looks like some of the blue is bled through. So you've got a little bit lighter red in this one splotch, and then kind of darkened in because you can see the blue kind of bleeding through a little bit. So that's a little bit off. Good skin tone. I like the face sculpt overall. I like the smile. I think that fits the character. You can kind of see his ears sticking out on the mask over here. So overall, I like this head sculpt and think it looks like the character as we see it in the comic books. Oh, and then you have the hole on the back, again, like you see with the pizza-eating Spider-Man mold. Okay, so this figure stands about 6 1/4 inches tall. He's the same height as the pizza-eating Spider-Man, so no surprises there. And then here he is next to his fellow superior foes, the Spider-Man team members, Shocker, this is a Toy Biz figure, and Boomerang. Now, I'll give you a comparison of the 4th member, the female Beetle, when we do the review of her tomorrow. But here's the 3 of 4 that are in figure form. There's a 5th member, which I don't even remember his name. So I think he was created for the comic itself, and they have yet to make a figure of. But with this wave, we now have 4 members of the Superior Foes of Spider-Man in figure form. Okay, so articulation is the same as the pizza-eating Spider-Man, so if you have that figure, you know what to expect, but we'll go over it real quick. Head's on a ball joint, so he can look left, and he can look right, and he's got a hinge joint, so he's got up and down movement with the head. Arms are attached with your standard ball hinge joint, so he can get his arm out good. He's got good rotation there. He's also got that inner chest joint to give him some more flexibility there at the shoulder. Bicep swivel, double jointed elbow, swivels at the wrist, hinges on the hand, so he's got good up and down movement with the wrists. He's got the midsection ab crunch, so he can crunch down and he can look back. He's got the waist swivel. Legs are attached with ball joints, so he can do the splits about that much. He can do his leg forward pretty good. Has to do his leg kind of out and back. He's got the thigh swivel. He's got the double jointed knees, so good bending at the knees. And then he's got the ankle pivot and the hinges on the feet, so good up and down movement. And then 2 peg holes on the bottom of his feet. Okay, so that's my review. Overall, I like the figure. Yes, it's a reuse of an existing mold, but that doesn't really bother me since the mold works well for this character. Paint applications are okay. My only real complaint is the little red splotch on his goggles, but otherwise I think they're pretty decent paint applications. The accessory is kind of a cool little accessory that's comic specific, so if you're into the story that was featured in, I think you'll definitely like that. The figure is out now. I've actually heard some reports of people starting to find the wave at Toys R Us stores, and it's definitely in stock at Big Bad Toy Store, and we'll have a link in the description below for that. And we'll have a full gallery of images for the figure up at marvelousnews.com. There's a link in the description below. And as always, leave a comment. Let us know what you think. Again, I would really like to hear your guys' thoughts on the reuse of molds. If it's a mold that fits the character, why is that a problem? You know, also, if you're so inclined, please like the video, and if you haven't already, please subscribe, and until next time, I'll catch you later.